Can you name or just talk a little bit about some indicators that parents should be looking for that the surviving siblings may be struggling and need some extra support?
Well, I would actually say that a sibling who's had a brother or sister die is very likely both to benefit from and to, if there's any possible way that they can go to a group or not necessarily immediately, but at some point, I think that, I suppose, the obvious answer to that is if they seem, if there's obvious changes in behavior, if they're obviously anxious, they don't want to go to school, they're depressed, they won't talk about the brother or sister who did. I mean, there were obvious warning signs, but for any brother or sister who has had a brother or sister die, I mean, it's a huge, huge, huge deal. And whether they are, holding themselves up to be supporting the parents, and they maybe appear to be the perfect children who are doing everything the way that the parents hope, to have a place where they don't need to worry about their parents, to be with other brothers and sisters. I mean, they're likely to feel alone, they're likely to feel they're the only people in the world to whom this has happened. Do they have to be, will they ever be able to be the person who their brother or sister was? I mean, there are just many, 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 and their whole, their parents are perfectly miserable. They may or may not be getting the attention that they hoped for. So that there are so many things going on that, and also the parents are grieving. So they perhaps were not the way they were with that child, and who can blame them? But therefore, for the brothers and sisters to have a place to go where other siblings have experienced a similar loss is so important and so valuable. If there's any sort of, and there are programs that have groups for siblings, and it's one of the, I think it's one of the bereavement interventions, which is more ambiguous about the findings, and more ambiguous for parents going into support groups, because for some people it's wonderful and for some people it's not. But the evidence that I am aware of for siblings is that it's very, very helpful. So I would encourage any parent to find out whether and even if it's only for a day, we would sometimes do just a day that siblings who had lost a brother or sister would come in, and we would have a group, sort of age, broken down by ages roughly. And I think that, that they would say at the end, it's just so wonderful to feel we're not alone. And they would share some of their reaction. I mean, one of the most moving groups I've ever been part of. So I thoroughly, completely advocate for finding out a group for siblings. And if not immediately, 6 months or so after that, or if they don't want to go then, just to have them exposed to it, that there are other children who have had the same experience, not the same, but has had a similar experience of major, major loss in the family.